everyone, Bill McRea here. I'm about 4 minutes early. Again, I have another PowerPoint presentation, and I kind of want to make sure I'm putting this together right, as I did last week. So hang out as I get this thing started to make sure it's working. Okay, let's try that again. Well, I cannot seem to get the stupid thing to work right. Okay. Screw it. All right, welcome to my presentation. I'm Bill McRea, and today we're going to go through what I think is probably one of the biggest opportunities for people to really gain a lot of growth in their business and what they're using AI for. We've been programming AI applications and selling them for since 2022 when ChatGPT first hit the market. Things have evolved quickly, and they are going unbelievably fast right now. But a lot of what we do with our software is we actually encapsulate a prompt inside of a WordPress format. So when you're actually running, the prompt, it is happening and it's creating the content for your website, the image, or whatever you want to do. So what we're really doing is we're just creating prompt generators. But someone asked me, goes, okay, is the AI traffic secrets, is that an agentic AI? And the answer is, yeah. It's on a schedule, it posts automatically. You don't have to lift a finger. That's what agentic AI is. But it's not truly agentic like when I'm running Manus. I can tell Manus to create a website, and it will just go create it for me. Or I can tell it to create this PowerPoint presentation that I quite honestly don't know how to present properly. I'm afraid to do anything. So I'm just going to go through the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to show you what you're probably doing wrong with AI. And once you get done, uh, you won't need to buy things like Deal.ai, which I think is a great program. You won't even need to buy AI Content Poster.ai, which is my program. You can just do it yourself. And the great thing is, I'm going to teach you how to design these prompts. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to uh, do it in such a way that at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you a shortcut to some software that does it for you. Kind of not fair. Um, so this is what we're going to learn in the next 60 minutes. Why prompting matters, how AI actually thinks, the anatomy of a perfect prompt, which we call the create format framework. Okay, you'll learn about that. Prompting levels, beginner to advanced, high performance prompt techniques, prompting for specific use cases, the iteration process and common mistakes, plug and play templates, building your prompt library, and then the Q&A at the end if you want. 72% of AI users are leaving massive value on the table. The median AI-driven productivity gain is about 30%, but it can be as high as 340% if you know how to prompt the AI properly. So most users are saving about 40 to 60 minutes per day with OpenAI. But if you're a power user, someone like me, you save. I'm doing more in one day than I used to do in 4 days. That's the 340%. So it's not the tools you buy. It's how you prompt an AI that will save you a lot of money. Same AI tool, dramatically different results. Prompt style for your casual user, it's like, I need a blog post about speeding. And a structured power user would be a lot more detailed on it. You're going to see how to put this together. So if you're a casual user, you get stuff. Probably need some editing. As a power user, it's really production ready when you get it. It takes you about a third the amount of time to do anything. So the return on investment from AI is marginal, but it is there versus measurable. And we want to get you to the measurable level. AI is a reasoning engine. It's not a mind reader, okay? AI works by predicting the most likely next word, or what they call a token, based on patterns in its training. It does not understand your intent. It responds to the statistical weight of your words. That's all it's doing. It's a very good at guessing. So if you put in vague prompts or inputs, triggers, you're going to get vague results. You put in specific, using the create system, you're going to get very high quality results, which is what you want. So here's just some examples. A vague prompt is when you just go into, let's say, ChatGPT, and you go, write me a marketing email. And the results are very generic, bland, but for any product and any audience. But specific prompt, as a direct response copywriter, write a 150-word email prompting a $497 online course on AI productivity for small business owners The tone is conversational and urgent. Include one call to action. You're going to get a much better result. Really highly targeted, compelling, and it's ready to send. So obviously, the specific prompt over here is going to give you much better results than what you got over here. So let's go to the next slide. The 6-part framework this creates, it starts with content. So context, I'm sorry. So just basically you're setting the background. I run a SaaS company targeting HR teams. So the AI knows that this is what I do. In my case, I go, I am a program developer creating applications that use AI to streamline operations. The role, so the role, or the R in create, is you just tell AI who you are. So you could be like a senior content strategist, or you can be the CEO of the software firm. The expectations, you want to define the desired outcomes. I need a blog outline that drives traffic. Specifies the task. Create a 10-section outline with keywords. Set the voice for T, for tone. Professional but approachable, no jargon. And then examples. Provides reference, for example. Here is a sample output, and you paste. So I might be taking, I want to create a link to this page, and I need this stuff to happen so that what comes out of the AI is useful. That's what you get when you use the create system. So putting this framework together in one prompt. So instead of, I need an online coaching program, you'd go, I am launching a 6-week online coaching program for freelancers who want to land $5,000 clients. Act as a world-class launch copywriter who specializes in high-ticket offers. I need a sales page that converts cold traffic at 2% with a clear value proposition. Write the headlines, sub-headline, 5 bullet points, and key benefits, and a closing call to action. So that would all be part of that one prompt. So 11 little prompting levels, prompting mastery, basic, simple questions, structured, adding clarity and constraints. Role-based, assigning expertise, act as a conversion copywriter, okay? Multi-step, breaking complex tasks into a chain. Very important. And then system level, treating AI as a team member with goals, constraints, feedback, and loops. So when I go to create something using AI, I used to just sit down and start listing out what I wanted to do, one thing at a time to AI, and then we'd end up going back and fixing things. Instead of using Claude Code for coding software, I would think about the task as a step linear. So I would feed it one at a time to Claude, and it would do one at a time, but it never really worked as a streamlined unit. Now I describe the whole thing out. I use audio to do it because I can't type very well. And when it's said and done, I usually get a piece of software that I can beta test that's 95% good. And the things that are not good about it are things I left out of my prompts. So creating a prompt to help code software, I need to be rigorous in describing exactly what I want in order to get what I want back. literally, I mean, when you're programming, I was learning programming in 1979 is when I started punch cards. That was a long time ago. Anyway, uh, garbage in, garbage out. That was always what your teachers were talking about. So most users just do one or two, do like level 1 and 2 of this. They don't fill in the role. Now, when I started saying I want my sales copy to sound like it was written by Frank Kern or Dan Kennedy, it comes back sounding like Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy. It's amazing. And then sometimes it's important to feed it a structure like step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do that. And you always want to give what the goal is at the very end. I want this program to be able to take care of my customers' need to create content automatically on a scheduled basis. I want it to be simple for them to use, and I want it to be ready for me and within the next 2 days. And so, I could feed a prompt in there and make $30,000 or $40,000 in the next week selling that software. So it really is a powerful way to, expand your offerings and be able to make a lot more money. So where most people get stuck, they start with the lazy way. I sure did. And what you get is like here, write a blog post about productivity. You get a 500-word article that's could come from a content mill. And I looked at trying to get some of my older websites to qualify for AdSense. And they were all auto content from the AI. And Google kept coming back and saying, thin content. Well, that's because we were using very non-specific keys or prompts and getting lousy stuff. Now, you can see the second one here, write a 600-word blog post about productivity tips for remote workers. Use a conversational tone, include 5 actual tips with examples. Target audience is young professionals age 25 to 40. And so what you get is a much more targeted, more complete article. Now, our AI traffic secret does that for you. Plus, it adds in, we need an image at the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. Because the images make it look a lot more professional, and it helps with the SEO. And the other thing we're doing with AI traffic secret is we're adding the markup schema, which is what really needs to happen for you to get into the answer engine optimization. So that's evolved to the point where it's really, you can do SEO and AEO at the same time. You didn't used to be able to do that even 6 months ago. So you can see how this is all evolving. Whoops. Breaking complex tasks into a sequence of focused prompts. And I include this all in one prompt, and I'll literally say, step 1, research the top 5 competitors in online fitness coaching, whatever it is. Step 2, based on your analysis, identify 3 gaps in the market we could exploit. Step 3, now create a unique value proposition for our program that will fill gaps. Gap number 2. There goes my dog. Step 4, write a 200-word elevator pitch using the value proposition. Excuse me. Hey! I'm sure that something got delivered out front. Okay. So breaking it into these steps can make it a lot more effective for two reasons. First of all, your brain, are you thinking all the way through the process? Now, this is something I had to really force myself to do because I was used to going, do this, then do this, then do, as opposed to laying it all out. Now I get really much better results. So I kind of look at AI now as little employees. I use Marbleism for social media marketing. It does it better than any of my programs do. And so I have content constantly going to TikTok and Instagram. And they're just little posts, images, little words on it. And it's there because I'm promoting multiple businesses. I have my music business, a 24-hour guitar, which is basically where I write and create music. I have my recovery service, which is a charity that I run to help drug addicts and alcoholics and stuff go through recovery. That's called Recovery Path. And I got my software business, McRea Soft. And I have a couple other things I'm constantly promoting with Instagram using Marbleism, which is basically you kind of feed it a little bit of input, and then it will every day go through and generate one post per day for each one of those social media accounts I like. It works great. We don't use it on X though. The problem with X is auto posting is really frowned upon. They don't like companies that post on their service. And, I've tried, and every time we get banned. So if you know your goals, you give it a constraints, your brand voice, some sort of feedback loop, and then reference previous output. So literally, when I'm working on a piece of software with Claude, I'll say, I want to do this with this software that we created before. Go find it and change it. No. I upload the software and dump it right into Claude because in the amount of time it takes, like, 5 seconds for Claude to read through all that code and understand what we're talking about. And then all those prompts work great. So that's why, giving it the memory management to build on prior conversations. Each time I'm building software, code in Claude is really good in that it keeps track of everything you've done. But I still feel like I get better results when I go back to the latest version of a piece of software that I want to change, update, amend, put in new features, whatever, and just upload it into the content. It goes a lot faster. Okay, role prompting. Some people go, is it really necessary? I feel it is. Like I said, when I write as a copywriter, if I want sales copy or a landing page, I will specify the copywriter that I would like them to model it after. So I want a sales letter or a squeeze page written as if it was done by Frank Kern, who's my favorite copywriter. Now, Frank's very conversational. He makes it kind of fun to read his copy, as opposed to Dan Kennedy, which is a very functional writer. A, B, C, D. He creates the pressure and all the conversion tactics where Frank's more or less going, yeah, you're adults. You don't need me to play that sort of game with you. So if you're going to create like a copywriter, you use a role, reference someone. So you have it there. So when you don't need music, when you're just doing some basic stuff. So if you want just basically whatever ChatGPT puts out, and you don't really care, you don't want it to sound like Frank Kern or Dan Kennedy or Seth Godin or any of those type of copywriters. You just wanted to be generic. Sometimes there's a place for that. I used this tool to write the email I went out for this. I'll show you the tool here in a little bit today. So you got a taste of it, but it was a short kind of, not a long email. And I did not tell it to write it as if it was Frank Kern or anything like that. So when you put constraints, sometimes I want a very short email. Sometimes I want a long email. I find it like, okay, an email under 150 words can be very effective. Putting bullet points and bold headers, stuff like that, can definitely make it more easier to read. Why I don't like big long emails is people don't read them. Okay, I have guys come to me with these emails and they slaved on it for 3 days writing their email, and they want me to market it for them. And I'll take one look at it and say, it ain't going to convert. What do you mean? I worked really hard on that. I said, well, why don't you try working smart? People aren't going to read all this bullshit. They're going to go right to where their eyes go. If you got bullet points, they'll get read. You got, bold headline, they're going to have good call to action. They'll look at that. You maybe got them for 5 seconds. If they have to sit down and take a PhD course on your email, they're simply not going to engage. They're going to be gone. So keeping things targeted to what your audience is really important. And it's like, when you're writing a sales letter for a business-to-business thing, when you're trying to reach out to small companies, you're not going to use the same approach as we used to do in internet marketing. We used to have like very high-pressure, hypey emails. Go here now or you're going to miss out. And you're going to be a loser. So don't be a loser. Go take a look at this page. And that was the audience at that point in time. So it is important to understand who your audience is. If you're writing for business to business or an accountant or another programmer, you want to tailor the words so that there's understandable and professional for that particular audience member to enjoy. So, okay. So that's why the audience is important. If you're writing it to children, you're going to write it different than if you're writing it to CFOs on LinkedIn. Very important distinction there. And then you always want to end with a very clear call to action. This is always, I can't believe, as I talk about reading through clients' emails, or they've written a book, and I'm like, what do you want them to do? Oh, I want them to read my great writing. I'm like, no, you don't. You want them to click on something and go buy something. What's all this? Well, I'm selling them in the sales letter. On the email sells them. Okay. So you're getting a good conversion rate on your page, but nobody's clicking on your email to go to your sales page, right? That's what happens. Those who do click are a lot more likely to buy because they went through all this garbage. Now, there are times when you want a rather verbose kind of sales letter, and when that happens, um, or email, I mean, uh, write it to that extent. So if I'm writing an email to my accountant or my attorney, it's not all bullet points and call to action. But I will take what I've written and I'll run it through ChatGPT, and I'll say, rewrite this to make sure for clarity, because that's the number one thing I want to get out of every communication. Because you can send people off in the wrong direction if they don't have the clarity. So, like I said, bullet points, numbered steps, tables, templates, markdown, JSON, and stuff like that. Now, I create all these courses. I write it all out. But then, in order to bring it into my LMS software, which is my own software, by the way, I have to convert my coursework into JSON. And that's basically JavaScript language used pretty heavily on WordPress. So in order to import, format it, make it look standard, have it fit into my learning management system, instead of copying and pasting all this content, and I take it into Claude and I say, here's my course that I've created for my learning management system. Please format it based on the standard we've developed for the Microsoft LMS, and prepare a downloadable JSON so I can import it into my software. So I used to say, well, I got to copy and paste this into LMS software. Oh, that's a pain in the butt. But now I import them and it formats it appropriately for me. Very important tools. Again, giving examples, it's just another way of telling AI how to do it. Okay, write a product description about our new headphones. Okay, here are 2 product descriptions in our brand voice. Example 1, example 2. Now write a product description for our new noise canceling headphones. So let's say you have a sample of something that you like. Copy and paste it and include it in your prompt. Make it sound like this. See, we call it artificial intelligence, but it's really not. It's guessing about the next word. And as a result of that, we get out what we put into it. Think step by step or show your reasoning dramatically improves accuracy on a complex task. That's really true. When I'm looking at financial information, stock purchases, I'll feed in a prospectus, 10K, and I'll get very detailed. Like, this is what I want to know. What's the liquidity? What's their long-term prognosis? How stable is the CEO? Look for any cash flow issues. And I'll get a very detailed report back before I decide to buy that stock or not. And I buy mostly tech stocks. Yeah, they go up and down, but all stocks do. Okay. AI-powered copywriting actually converts. Act as a direct response copywriter by Gary Hart and Frank Kern. Write a 200-word email selling a $997 course on AI automation for agency owners. Open with the pattern interrupt and use conversational tone. One call to action, no hype. That's an excellent prompt. Probably one I actually wrote. I think I did. Let's say for ad copy, act as a performance marketer. Write 3 Facebook ad variations for the product. Each ad, hook is under 10 words, body is under 50 words. The call to action and target audience is gophers playing golf or whatever it is. Optimize for click-through rate. It can write amazing copy. I have a PPC program that I built, and we use PPC extensively, mostly Bing, and we're getting 200-300% return on ad spend. We're using this type of formula to create the ads. It's the prompt embedded into my software. I've showed you guys this in the past, but it's something from my business. As a sales page, act as a conversion copywriter. Right above the fold section of the sales letter, headline, subline, 5 bullet point, call to action, product, AI traffic secret, audience, online business entrepreneurs. And it will write good sales letters. A lot more you can put into that, and we'll talk about that later. There's funnel strategies, doing market research. This is something we've been doing. And I'm glad you're here today because I want, you're going to get an opportunity to access my courses for free for a little while longer before I start charging for them. But these are actual prompts that I've used. Here's a prompt. As a senior Python developer, write a script that scrapes product prices from URL stores and then CSV file and flag any price changes greater than 10%, include error handling and comments. Okay. YouTube scripts, very important too. So you can create a great YouTube script and you go to a service like HiGen, pick an avatar and it will sit there and share your script. It's amazing. You can even be your own avatar if you want. Okay, the iteration cycle that separates amateurs from professionals. Do a draft, get the first output. Evaluate what's good, what's missing. Refine. Use target follow-ups. Build a refined output, polish, and export. So your first prompt is never really your final one. You might play around with it. Take something and push it through Claude or the ChatGPT or whatever AI you choose to use, look at the results, and then maybe go back and reevaluate things. You might tell it to be more concise, add specific examples, tell it to rewrite the intro, make it more compelling. And then, because we're used to talking about JSON and socket layers and stuff like that, let's simplify this language. So it's very rare that my first prompt is the one that actually ends up doing the work for us. So you might spend 20% of your time on the first prompt. And as you see the initial results, you spend another 80% of the time revising the prompt, refining it, and making it more effective. When I was using prompting to build some of my programs, the more I put into it as I saw initial input, I was able to get better and better. And by broadening out my prompt, but including all these components we're sharing with you, I was able to narrow in on and get the results I wanted much, much faster. So, I mean, if you avoid these mistakes, just attending today is going to put you ahead of everyone prompting 90%. One thing I'm doing now in my prompts, I always end them with ask any questions you need so you're clear on your instructions. I add that to the prompt and it'll pop up, so I need some feedback. Why do I do that? Because maybe I'm not clear about things. I ask any questions and make recommendations. And it might come up and make recommendations. I'll say yes or no. And usually what I get is just a much better result from that prompt. Okay. So you don't want to be too vague. You want to skip iterations. Always be willing to refine your prompt 2 or 3 times. Make sure you're telling the AI who's this for. They got to know your audience. And the examples are just really important. So let's go here. So here's, again, a weak versus strong. Give me a lead magnet idea for a fitness coach. Output, create an ebook called 10 Tips for Getting Fit. Versus act as a digital marketing strategist specializing in the fitness industry. I run an online coaching business for busy professionals aged 30 to 45 who want to lose 15 to 20 pounds without extreme diet. Create 3 lead magnet concepts for each. Provide the title, the format, look, estimated completion time, and how it leads to my $997 12-week coaching program. Prioritize concepts with high perceived value, low production costs. Boom. You get 3 detailed strategic concepts with clear monetization value. So, unfortunately, I use this. And I went to Claude and I said, here is a link to my courses that I give away for free. A lot of people complaining that I shouldn't do that I should be selling them. And that's why I'm telling you now, if you want to get these courses, go sign up. Well, they're free. Claude came back and we had a little discussion. And I ultimately ended up coming up with a program, including a new product name, and we're going to have a 3-tiered pricing. So people can get some free stuff, like the AI prompt generator I'm going to give you guys tonight will stay free. But a lot of the courses, because they're intense and they're detailed, we're going to have available for sale. I still need to add videos into them, and I'm still working on getting all the audio because I'm using a program called 11 Labs to convert all the content on those courses into audio. So it's more consumable for you. We'll do some videos too. There are times you got to point and click stuff. You can't just, tell people. Okay. These are some ready-to-use prompts that I have created. but I'm going to skip through them because we've got something better. But you can kind of get a good idea of the type of work that goes into creating the prompt. Not because I like creating these prompts, but because I like to get the result I want with the least amount of effort. And our software is going to help you do all of this stuff. Let's move on. Okay, now we talk about, you can use any one of the OpenAI's, the AI engine you want. Okay. But they obviously have their strengths. Let's go through each one. ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, structured workflows, coding, and general tasks. It's what I use for all my content posting systems. The strong reasoning capabilities. The writing quality is good and very versatile. It's got their GPT system, which means you can create a prompt and sell it or reuse the prompt. So you go through all this crap and you create a prompt and you want to reuse it. Okay. ChatGPT's got that. Claude, which is my favorite, is good for long form writing. As far as brainstorming, this is what I like best. Okay, is Claude. I'll sit down and literally put on the microphone and start talking to Claude about what I want to work on, what I want to achieve, what we need to accomplish. That's how we've decided to restructure my courses and make them available as a Warrior Plus product. So Claude's really good for that sort of stuff. Gemini is Google's great for real-time search and that sort of stuff. Reasoning is really important to me because if you're writing programs or you're trying to brainstorm ideas for products or ways of positioning products in the market or ways to get the product in the market, Claude works best in that. Okay. Claude is also the best for copywriting. So if you want to write a sales letter, you can create a prompt and you can take it to all three of these. And I've done this. I created a prompt for a sales letter and then took it to ChatGPT, to Claude, and to Gemini. I think, without a doubt, Claude had the best. ChatGPT's got the ability to save your prompts. And the thing about Gemini is it's integrated into Google's search engine. That's a little icon you see when you search. And so those AI results are there. And that's why AEO is so bloody important, because it allows you to get your content into, when we came out with the AI traffic whale, the software for that, which is just massive passive AI, wrote in AI format with all the schemas and all that stuff, Q&As, and it was good, and it works. Just very shortly after we launched it, I was starting to get frustrated by Google not allowing me to have my AdSense accounts that I wanted to convert some of these sites to. So I created the AI traffic secrets, And the prompt is better. Creates the images, it's longer, and it still has a schema. The it's hidden underneath, and the Q&A. So you look at those blog posts, you're like, wow, they're gorgeous. And they killed two birds with one stone. It's called AI Traffic Secrets. So, and that will be launching soon too. Okay, so another thing I do is you take the output from one prompt as the input for the next prompt. You'll see, or if you're having a discussion with Claude, in particular Claude Code, you can have a continuous conversation going on, and in that process, you're able to literally in real time build on your prompts from one thing to the next. Now, one thing about Claude that can be frustrating, I have their highest level. It costs me a couple $100 a month, but I can work. Where when I was trying to get by doing it for free, it was constantly saying, "Oh, can't use it for another half hour, an hour," and I finally got over that because there's only so much memory, and the more that you build out your chat to try to debug software, the more memory you use, and the more likely you're going to run out of memory and have to continue the conversation, which takes a lot of work and it's a pain in the ass. Well, now that I'm what they call their master member, I can continue much longer conversations. But as I was developing all this stuff, I got better at actually creating a prompt. That's what we're talking about today. You're seeing all the stupid things I've done in the past. And as I built better prompts, I had fewer bugs in the software. And so my debugging became way less. And I'm not using up the memory on Claude that I used to use. It's a lot better. I use something called Notebook on my iMac. In the good prompts, I just save it in that. And then there are, I got prompt libraries, and you can take these and save them in your, like with ChatGPT, you can literally save that prompt and use it as many times as you want. So, break them out by category. And sometimes it's important to go and update prompts, create your version numbers. One thing I've gotten really good at is Claude and I now have an understanding as we develop software. There's a naming strategy, and we have to keep track of every version in case I need to roll back to an older version, which has happened. Less now that I know how to write a good prompt. So, create maybe your 10 prompts that you use all the time. And you can see, we're talking about using Notion, Google Docs, Obsidian, simple spreadsheet, category prompt, notes. Notes is what I'm using for keeping track of my prompts. So every time you open an AI tool, this 5-step formula needs to be followed. What specific outcome do you need? Be precise. role. What is the AI supposed to be? Constraints. What are the boundaries? Tone, length, format, exclusions, uh, how to format it, and uh, try to iterate it two, 3 times. It's where the quality lives. Uh, so there's some things to do in the next 24 hours. Master 3 core prompts. Let me show you my software and start a prompt library. Um, most people think prompting is about what to ask. In reality, it's about how to think clearly enough to instruct the AI properly. And that's the most truthful thing I wrote. The better I get at prompting, the better and faster I'm able to turn out quality products. So you'll find that as you get better at this, you're gonna be able to uh, really grow your business. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Yay! One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to do that better. Excuse my voice. QR codes. Let me just shut that off. Okay. I'm going to take you out and show you the software that you can use today if you want. Okay. Well, there we are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the McRea homepage. Okay, it still says free courses. They're not going to be free for long. As you scroll down here, you'll see one that says AI prompt generator. Click there. Or you can just go to the blog and it'll take you to the prompts. This is an example of a program I put together with one very detailed prompt I generated. And I took that and I used it to actually be able to build the software in like 2 or 3 versions. I think I'm version 1.51. So it's 5.1 versions. So 5 prompts together. Let's just go and show you the different types of prompts. Blog posts, social media posts, video scripts, SEO optimized content, image generation, cold outreach email. That's what I used to generate the emails that went out today. Follow-up email, newsletters. This is for people that are familiar with them. Landing page copy, product description, ad copy, sales pitch. This would be like the long sales letter, job description. Oops. So these are all templates that you can use to create a prompt. Let's go into image generation. You'll see here that you can create this template just by completing this form, and you can actually use this little icon here. I don't know if it'll work with the blogging software, but let's say. So I want to create an image that will represent the new courses I'm selling. Okay. Target audience. This is for small businesses and entrepreneurs. What is the goal here is to sell direct conversions. What tone to use, conversational, what brand voice. This is coming from Bill McRea from McRea Soft Solutions. Okay. So that's my audience. Okay. Anything to avoid. Please limit it to one image and make sure it is colorful but lifelike. Okay, there we go. Next. Okay, it's got to finish up. Main subject. We are now offering high-end training products from our website that will help you grow your business and make more money. Visual style, photorealistic, mood. I want it bright and cheerful. Composition shot. Let's go with a medium shot. Aspect ratio. And do it square. Things to avoid. So to build a prompt. So now it's actually creating the prompt for you. So this is the prompt. That's a lot better than I would normally do. So we're going to copy that. And then I'm going to go to ChatGPT. And I'm just going to paste it in there. I forgot to tell them to run this prompt. I'm just going to create an image. Now this will take a few minutes. As far as images are concerned, I think Grok, which is the one I didn't mention, it's got pretty good quality. ChatGPT uses, it used to be called Midjourney, but now it's called DALL, D-A-L-E, and it's really, really good. And it will create good quality images for you. And just see what, there you go. Now this is mine. I can save it to my computer and use it. And that's amazing. Quality is there. So go ahead and use the prompt generator. Go to the McRea Soft website. And use it. Now, courses. I want to share this with you now. This is essentially what I went through today. You can come here and take this course if you want. You will need to register to have an account. These courses aren't going to be free for long. So get in there and go through them. There's enough. I know a lot of people don't want to spend all this time studying. They want to just get results. And the reality is, there we go. Sorry about that. The reality is, it's just like that we just spent the last hour discussing. You can create a prompt that's going to get you a stick figure drawing, or you can create a prompt that's photorealistic. So we hope that you decide to go through some of these courses. Make sure you register, because they're not free for long. Just the way it's got to go. These are really high-end courses. I built them. You see, some of them have audio.
Like other platforms.
They will all have audio eventually. The reason why I like the audio is sometimes I can't sleep at night. I simply go out and listen to something to learn, being highly educated. And I think what I'm learning about all this stuff is, sorry about my hip. You can work hard or you can work smart. And you can look okay or you can look great. Use these prompts to help you out. They're here for a reason. Make sure when you paste them, you tell them to run. I'll be beta testing it myself. It's a great resource to have available to you. Same with the courses. So if you can, go check it out, start using it. It will help your business. It really will. Now, all these courses we got, I will be teaching various versions of these courses at AI Weekly Live. And my focus is always going to be on AI. Am I always going to have the PowerPoint presentation? I got to figure out a better way to do that. And I think I just did, because there's another way to present it. Anyway, you're getting a lot of content. You're getting a lot of value for being here. There's a lot of stuff you can do to help your business now, instead of being ran over by your business. You can be the one who's in charge of it. You guys have a great week, and we'll